And in a world that's plagued with the conflict, with the complex entanglement of various root causes, the role of the youth interfaith initiatives has become very critical, considering their vulnerabilities. Faced with the numerous challenges, youth have chosen the path of developing robust initiatives to counter the narratives that portray them as mere victims and often at times as perpetrators of violence.
So both of our organizations, Faith to Action Network and the Lutheran World Federation, we have had the joy and privilege of working with younger faith leaders in their efforts to promote peace in different ways.
In this program, Fatayat NU, or my organization, focuses on young women preachers as religious actors. We call it Da'iyat. So with the mission as agent of peace, to bring the message of Islam that contribute to peace in the universe, especially in their community. We developed guidance and module book entitled Guidance and Module for Solidarity and Religious Tolerance. And this book consists of Islamic texts on tolerance and the practices of the Prophet Muhammad and his companion toward other religions, and also reinterpreting Islamic texts on women issues, and also accommodating the Indonesian principles of diversity. We aim to increase young women's capacity and their voices as agents to bring the message of peace, in which women have very important contribution, including their involvement in conflict mediation.
It's been a very crucial and challenging time in India. We are upholding the ministry's issues, and first of all, through the program I've done. So we brought the awareness to the young people and conscientized with them towards to sensible issues. Many a times, we have the minority people who are kept uniformly. The minority issues are taking a huge change in the people's life, especially when it comes to the worship places. A lot of the churches are under threat. Not only churches, but also mosques too. This program at some point has broken the ignorance of the people, and they have very much learned about the need of interfaith relations. The religious fundamentalist causes a lot of disharmony and minority and Christianity and Islam in the India. So, who want to gain the political power or causes for these people? They create problem. Ultimately, common people would suffer a lot. In this context, the interfaith relationship in India is a challenging one.
In many patriarchal societies, religious authority belongs to men, and women are not considered to have capacity to access such authority, particularly on religious matters. But and also this leaves women with limited access to some levels of knowledge. Such as in dakwah activity, they are mostly mostly limited to women issues such as how to be a good wife, how to be a good daughter or a good sister. And so in this religious interpretation, women only position as object, not subject. But we can see here that women leadership and women voices, although it's still marginalized and justified by religious texts, in fact, the initiative of women in many aspects is remarkable, and I see this in my organization, and also in their community, that women come together to have strength to do what we can do. So yeah, this I think this make us have a great hope that women can contribute to peace and building and harmony. So we develop guidance or module book for dakwah or for preaching. And when we prepared our book of Dakwah Guidance, we conducted several FGDs that invited experts and participants from different backgrounds and religion, including minority groups such as Ahmadi, Shi'i, and also from a traditional belief system. These interfaith dialogues were conducted to give input on how this guidance of Islamic teaching, Islamic preaching on FOB is developed. I think this is practice that has never done before in Indonesia, where people from the different religions were invited to give input to Islamic preaching guidance. The participants from minority groups, mostly women, even told us that they felt accepted and their voices were being heard by being invited to the discussion. So when using the dialogue method, we receive positive feedback where people express that they feel safe and accepted. So they have spaces to speak up. So I think interfaith dialogues create better understanding among different people and also reduce prejudice and thus demonstration that indeed peace is possible. So in case where women leaders are still marginalized, developing the preaching guidance for women preachers and women leaders is an attempt to give them access and more voices. And when the book is published and used widely, not only by women preachers, but also like by lecturers at university, both by women and men, this means that women's authority in knowledge production is recognized and appreciated.
Yeah, I think that we should avoid being too stereotyped in conducting the programs. Let us derive our solution based on people. It is time to let people speak their own issues and the ongoing issues in the church and society, especially in the multi-religious context.
So when we are preparing or we conducted several SGDs for Young Women Preachers Guidance book, we heard some inspiring stories. One of our speakers was Protestant priest. So she was surprised when asked to provide input, and she did. And she shared her experience of preaching in her community to enrich methods in our books. So, and she emphasized on the importance of social media to be used to spread the message of tolerance in the preaching activity, and also the importance of GESI, gender and social inclusion, as a perspective in the book. And also other participants from minority groups even had tears for feeling moved. One of Ahmadi members shared story where NU, it's our main organization, has always been a mediator in every conflict between minority groups and radical groups. Because in Indonesia, the Islamic minority groups like Ahmadi and Shi'i were being persecuted and experienced violence in some region because they considered as deviant Muslim. So one day they were attacked by a radical group called FDI, Islamic Defender Front. Their mosque was stoned, the glasses of the windows was scattered, the carpet was torn apart, and they even attacked their house, which was located near the mosque. They threw the Quran that was inside the mosque, and there was old woman in the house, and her neighbor saved her before the attackers reached the house. And during the Zuhur prayer time, the leader of Ahmadi, the husband, because the one who tells us the story is the wife, asked the protester patiently to stop because it's time for prayer, and he will deliver adhan or Islamic prayer for prayer. Usually Muslim, when it comes to prayer time, they will like stop everything, something like that. And the protester said, oh, the adhan is the same when after heard the adhan. And then the leader asked them to pray together in the mosque they destroyed. And after praying, they also said, oh, the prayer is the same. And when also they saw the Quran, that they threw earlier, everything is the same. So, and then because it was lunchtime, the leader asked them to have lunch together, and then finally they got reconciled. And after that incident, they become friends until now. This story tells us that violence occurs because of some misunderstanding. People only hold on to prejudice without evidence. But then after some interaction and dialogue, they can understand each other. interfaith dialogue has the power to increase understanding and reduce prejudice. And the role of youth leaders like us who initiate some interfaith dialogue is very important. And it's also evidence that young women leaders can inspire their community to embrace dialogue, thus contributing to durable peace.
Yes, first, the young faith actors are more open type and fit to the current context. Definitely, the religious actors should be involved in the promoting peace as ultimately they are the one who promotes and facilitates peace through religions and channels. Also, since youth people are effectively communicators, they would be more easily to accommodate things easily. I have one story in our church because the few of the peoples are very fundamentalist in our Christianity. Uh, Now they are coming to our youth meeting, the Peace Project meeting in Madurai. They come and they sit with us and they speak with us, and they are learn about the what is multi-religious context in India. So they are understand that it's a very complicated things in our life. Uh, First meeting, they are not accept all the things. First, we have to learn that. So the persons are learn some things in our meeting, though it's very challenging for the youth. So the youth peace project, it's a complicated for the people. So now they have to be in a storage of the people is in only the Christian community people. So that place, they acknowledge the Christianity festivals and the Christianity type of the numerical order. Now the people are going to be the, in Tamil, its name is Samathuva Pongal. Its name, it's a celebration of the festival. Uh, our farmer day will celebrate in India. Its name is Pongal. Uh, so they are have to celebrate Samatha Pongal. Three leaders from the Hindu religious leader and the Islam religious Maulavi and the Christian pastor. I am myself also going to join with us, and they are celebrating that. It's very useful for the example of that message. Thank you.
Women play very important roles in many aspects of social life, our social lives, including in building peace and harmony in our society. In some cases, it is not easy to accept women's leadership, especially on religious issues. In our project, women's religious authority, women's voices, and women's leadership are recognized and will continue to be encouraged. So I think my recommendation would be the first, we need to involve the wider communities to build bridge and to give opportunities to young women to be involved for greater impact on the wider community. And the second, the continuation of interfaith dialogues and the sustainability of the program are very important and need to be implemented in the wider context. Thank you.
But again, the issue of participation, I think, for me, has also stood out very clearly, because you're dealing with some groups that are maybe marginalized in some way or the other, that they have to be brought on the table. Because if you're talking about peace and durable peace, and that peace is possible, then you have to bring all these actors on the table.
And often we know that these issues are complex, that there must be some small steps to move forward. And not only is it about context, but I noticed that, especially Neneng, in your contribution, you also try to connect the religious text, religious traditions, the faith aspect to human rights. And for Samuel John, you also highlighted the importance of being self-critical, even for those who may feel they are the victim of the pressures and the restrictions and the exclusionary voices. But what I appreciated is that even in the midst of your programs, you actually also include the majority, or try to invite the majority to be part of that program, so that together you can really put some steps forward to move forward. So in addition to youth participation, I would add that actually youth leadership is expressed in this way. And both of you have been great examples and models, and I hope that more people, young leaders, would be inspired to take up leadership. And for those who are in positions of authority or have the ability to set policies, will be able to include and also encourage more emerging young leaders like yourself to step up and to step in to provide us with your solutions and your recommendations.